2 days before the Australian Open began, Jannik Sinner was on a practice court in Melbourne doing what he always does, hitting clean, controlled balls at full pace. And something felt wrong. After one miss too many, Sinner turned to his team and said something you almost never hear from him. "The racket sucks." No drama, no cameras, just frustration. But that one sentence told you a lot. Heading into the 2026 Australian Open, Sinner had been testing a new version of the head speed racket. On the surface, it looks nearly identical to the previous model. Same mold, same branding, but Head made several subtle changes that matter enormously to a player like Sinner. The biggest difference? Feel and launch angle. The updated speed has a slightly stiffer layup and a marginally higher launch, designed to give players a bit more free power and margin over the net. For many players, that's a positive. For Sinner, it's a problem. His game is built on flattening out the ball, taking it early, and driving through the court with minimal spin. He doesn't rely on heavy net clearance. He relies on precision. In practice, the new racket was sending balls just a little long, not by much. But at Sinner's level, a few centimeters is the difference between control and hesitation. You could see it in the way he was hitting. Late contact, slightly more conservative swings, second-guessing on forehands he normally crushes. And that's when equipment stops being equipment and becomes noise. Players will tolerate discomfort in training. They won't tolerate doubt at a Grand Slam. That's why when Sinner walked on court for his match against Felix Auger-Aliassime, the experiment was already over. He went back to his old head speed setup, the version with the lower launch, softer feel, and response he knows instinctively. The difference was immediate. Cleaner depth, more confident acceleration through contact, no hesitation on direction. Changes. This wasn't about superstition or habit, it was about timing. Sinner plays one of the most timing-dependent games on tour. He stands close to the baseline, redirects pace, and plays with very little margin. Any change in swing weight, balance, or stiffness affects how early he can take the ball, and that's non-negotiable for him. That's also why top players are so cautious with racket updates. Roger Federer delayed changes for years. Rafael Nadal stayed with the same mold almost his entire career. Novak Djokovic tweaks constantly, but only in tiny increments. Sinner fits that mold perfectly. The new speed may eventually become his racket. Head wouldn't make the change without extensive testing, but rolling out a new layup 2 days before a slam is always risky, especially for a player whose confidence comes from repeatability, not improvisation. And to Sinner's credit, he didn't force it. No public complaints, no excuses if things went wrong. Just a quiet decision to trust what works. That's the mark of a player who understands himself. When Sinner said, "The racket sucks," he wasn't trashing the brand. He was reacting to a mismatch between his game and the moment. At the Australian Open, timing is everything. What do you think about Jannik complaints? It will affect him in the Australian Open. I read you in the comments. And if you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe. See you in the next one.